Mike and I were just having a conversation who our favorite guests are, and in particularly who my mother, who listens to the show, who her favorite guest is. But we bring on what I'm not kissing your ass here, Jay Moore, my favorite guest, because we get to talk about the in-depth X's and O's of football that a 5'10", 175-pound man will never ever be able to discover or experience. Gary out, by the way, Jay. It's Mike Schaefer's in his seat. He's Gary's on the road for the Omaha Mavericks. But we bring in here on Gary and Matt, Mr. Jay Moore, the former Blackshirt, and 1/3 of one of the best shows going in the Omaha metropolitan and just Nebraska area Big Red Wrap Up. Jay, welcome in, my man. How are you?
Thanks. Good to see you guys. Shafe, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's the golf game these days, Jay? I heard you were a pretty big tournament this past week.
Yeah, I was in Birmingham, Alabama. They call it the NIT, the National Invitational Tournament. This is the 4th year I've been going down to it. It's a mid-am event, so 25 and older. I had my crap together for one round, and then the next day, just like golf, it just kind of disappears, and I didn't have it for the next 2 days. But I will say, I feel like I've never played in the U.S. Open before, but that's probably as close as I'll ever get to playing the U.S. Open for the golf nerd junkies out there. So green speeds, they call it, they stimp them. So fast greens are like 11, 12. These stimped every day at 14.2.
My God. Yeah, no, thank you. I'll stick to playing Tiburon and all of my local court. Do you think this is an honest question I was going to ask you before Shafe asked you about your golf game. How many more days, like how many more rounds do you think you got in Nebraska now? Like, do you think we're only down to like maybe 2 or 3?
It just depends. I mean, I've played golf on the day after around Thanksgiving. I've played it like 2 years ago. I played golf on December 23rd. It was like 65 degrees, sunny and perfect, and there's no snow on the ground. So it just kind of depends on the wind. I always say if it's 45 degrees and sunny and not windy, you can definitely play golf. It's just you only have like a 5-hour window to play though.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's too cold in the morning.
You got the available. Like that's what you're in a race against light more than you are.
Well, the nice thing is about having this job is that I leave the office at 11:30, so I do have that. And I had to ask you because you are our golf guy essentially, and this is my first like year in the state where it's like we're kind of down. We're first year in Omaha where we're down the stretch. And I got 2 more 95 rounds in me before we pack it up and go to the indoor facility and try and break 90 next year. But let's stop talking about our golf games. Nobody cares about that. They care about Husker football. Jay, Gary and I were having a really intriguing conversation yesterday about the game and about not just USC, but Minnesota and kind of just the season in general. And when we were talking, I thought, all right, this is a good question to ask Jay just because of your experiences. But from what we see, Nebraska comes out the gate and they go ahead and they play football, and then a team adjusts to them. Mm-hmm. And then Nebraska makes an adjustment to that adjustment. But then it seems like when the other teams make an adjustment to that initial adjustment, Nebraska doesn't seem to adjust back to that, which is why over the last couple of weeks, it seems like, offenses are having a little bit more success later in the game, which is why maybe the offense outside of the Maryland game is kind of stalling right in the second half. Just from your eyes, do you think that Nebraska at times has trouble with those just reacting to some in-game adjustments from opponents?
I think potentially just with the third quarter lulls we have seen with this team, you get it's the chess match, it's the counter punch, teams adjust at half.
Yeah.
And I would say, that they seem to come out. I mean, you look at any team, Nebraska or just any teams in general, they always have success. You call it your first 15, first 20 plays that are ran. They're always really successful. Then teams adjust. And then can you adjust to what they're doing? And can what you worked on throughout the week or what you've installed throughout the year, can that handle those adjustments? And a lot of times they don't. Yeah. And not just speaking Nebraska, I'm just speaking in general terms, just in college football, even in the NFL. But no, I think offensively, and again, it's like more the USC game. It's unfortunately when Dylan gets hurt, what you planned for and prepared for that whole week kind of just goes out the window. I know you try to get as many reps as you can for TJ through the week, but He maybe gets 30, 40, 50 reps total throughout the week, I would imagine. And you get that game plan you had, you just kind of have to scrap it a little bit. You kind of have to fly by the seat of your pants. But no, I think I look at it from the defensively, and obviously stopping the run has been tough. And I think Nebraska's at this point right now, just where they are talent wise, where obviously the strength of this team is in the secondary, and it shows. I think their front seven has issues talent wise. And I think this, and it's not necessarily talent, but depth, being young, and I think that shows at times. I thought they played okay up front. Just the reacting to those counters. I mean, they're putting those linebackers and some of those defensive linemen in at some tough spots to play really disciplined football, and they just don't do it at times. If Nebraska, I think as next year it'll be vastly different. But I mean, it just comes down to I don't necessarily think it's a scheme. I just think Nebraska just plays defensively at times just to get a little too undisciplined, and that can happen with some younger guys who haven't played a ton. And let's be honest, they're not. They don't. I mean, the linebacker crew is a little rough. I mean, Javen Wright is playing his tail off, but Shavers and Watch and Trent have some issues. They haven't played a ton, and they have some issues athletically. And you have Dawson Merritt, who's been banged up, and he'll be a really good one. But just you kind of have to you're plugging holes. You're trying to fill certain holes. There's a leak, right? And you're just trying to fill the ones that are leaking the quickest. And with whatever you can, whether it's gum, tape, duct tape, whatever you're trying to do right now, and trying to limit one area of the aspect of the offense. And right now they're doing really good at stopping the pass, but stop the run is another thing. But I think that's where they'd rather be right now is, hey, we're going to limit the plays explosively to the pass, and we'll take our chances on the run, keep it in front of us, and hopefully get them in third and longer, 3rd and 5-ish, and hopefully they got to lean on throwing the football, and that's what we're really good at.
Jay, I think there was like a hesitancy to say Nebraska's pass defense was good because they hadn't played any team that was like a prolific passing offense. You finally got one in USC. And what did you see that John Butler put together to bottle up Jaden Maeva to the worst game of his season? It's not even close. I mean, he was 9 of 23. He was just struggling in that performance. He picked it up when he started to run the football, which was unfortunate for Nebraska. But what did you see from John Butler that he put together that made it so difficult trying to pass into Nebraska's defense for what had been an incredibly efficient passing offense prior to Saturday?
Yeah, I think one thing Nebraska was able to get a decent pass rush, and that's at times I think that helps. But the ability to change up secondaries to the coverages. I mean, what Andrew Marshall was able to do on the fake blitz and bounce back there and play that in a kind of a pseudo cover 2 look. And I don't know what in coverages. Everyone plays a quarter half. Usually the quarters is to the field's the strong side that you play cover 2 to the boundary side, and then you flip it and go cover 9, which is half, or excuse me, cover 2 to the strength, and then cover 4 to the others to the opposite side. So having that ability to kind of switch that around, Nebraska's done a really good job of that within hiding that, and then you get some unique blitz situations, and I think the secondary guys just played well. I think Luke Guthrie's has struggled. He played one of his better games in coverage, even though he gave up some 50-50 balls. But I thought just over in general, they played. What I thought they did really, really well is they played the hands of the secondary or the wide receivers. When those 50-50 balls were going up, they were violent through the catch radius. They were swiping away. But I think the biggest thing, they were just able to disguise and trick and kind of confuse Maeva, and that lent him to hang on to the ball a little longer than he wanted to. And that then you were able to get some of those pass rushes, and then you saw the intentional groundings. And so he was just confused, and he was just hesitant to throw to let it rip. And I mean, and then you had to lend to them running some trick plays. I mean, a flea flicker and all that kind of stuff to buy him some time. That's kind of a tip of the cap to the defense. Like, hey, we kind of have to do some things out of the normal because we can't run our basic stuff. So I thought that was a tip of the cap to Butler's defense. But overall, Shape, I think it's just their ability to disguise and communicate and pass things off. But you can kind of just do little tweaks here and there with disguising it, and you can really confuse the quarterback. If his first or second look's not there, and then you're good on the back end, any quarterback's going to struggle. And like you made a great point. They haven't played a prolific passing offense, but that was one of the best in the country, and they shut them down.
Purely hypothetical here. If you were a defensive coordinator, Jay Moore, and you were playing a backup quarterback in your next game, and that backup quarterback, maybe had played a couple of games earlier in the year against teams that weren't all that good, and then, had to come in against a Power 5 team and played a half, and didn't look all that great, but he's young and he's got legs. How would you attack that quarterback? And Manny, this was just my joking way of saying, if you're the defensive coordinator of UCLA, how are you attacking TJ Lateef?
Yeah, you're gonna pay attention to how they utilized him in the Akron and Houston Christian game, and obviously the most of the second half of the USC game. What do they feel comfortable running with him? And in that and obviously supremely different than Houston Christian, Akron. They took some shots on the field and executed it, and they used them in the run game a little bit too, inside the red zone on some QB keeps, on the zone reads. But you look at what he did against USC in a limited, obviously, playbook. A lot of screens, QB draws were called. He has ability to step up in the pocket and use his legs. But I mean, you look at this game, and UCLA in general, they've struggled against mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I mean, Drew Allard almost went for like 100 yards against him, right? So I mean, he's not TJ Lateef is much more athletic than Drew Allard was when Penn State went out to UCLA and played. So they're going to be it's going to be a much more 11-on-11 football than Nebraska's had to play, because when Dylan's back there, it's 10-on-11 football. He is not a threat to keep it and to beat you with his legs. That means linebackers can get more downhill quicker. They don't have to respect the mesh point in QB, the inside outside zone, or the QB read, that type of scenario. So that's going to be interesting to see that when you have a running back as good as Emmett, and even when Mosey comes in, or Mekhi Nelson, whenever he gets in there, like, they're gonna have to trust what TJ's able to do in the run game, and they're gonna have to trust the screen game. Nebraska's really damn good at the screen game. We've seen it with Hunter and Barney. I still would love to see that the fumble snap. I think Barney scores on that play, that tunnel screen towards the field side, when he fumbled that shotgun snap. But they got to respect that, and then there's got to play a little more discipline when you have a mobile quarterback that slows down your rush a little bit more, and that slows down your linebackers just the half a step more, because you have to respect the QB keep and keeping it on the outside. So I'm excited to see the game plan, what's going forward, and seeing what TJ is able to do, and have a more clear mind mentally, knowing that you are the man going in there at the first play of the first offensive series. But overall, they got to stop the run. They haven't been good at stopping the run, and they haven't been good at keeping QBs in the pocket. So I think you got to lean Nebraska. Even though TJ is a freshman going on the road, they got their hands full.
Hey, it's a truism in football. It's next man up whenever there's an injury. What's it like in the locker room, though, when it's your quarterback? How do you think those guys kind of are going to respond to that this weekend?
Oh, they're going to, I think that's the beauty of a team sport. And when your culture is really good, I think Nebraska's culture is good, you're going to surround him, and you're going to, give him, you're going to give him that such a good foundation to go out there to play well. And I think the coaching staff understands that his, just being a young guy going back home, the situation can be a little big, but simplifying it for him and putting him in great situations. But as a player, I look at, at my time at Nebraska and even the NFL, there's the backup quarterbacks are, some of they're from the fan base. Everybody loves the backup quarterback. We've seen that obviously here at Nebraska, even this year. I look at my time when I was with the 49ers. Alex Smith got hurt, and then Trent Dilfer went in there and he got hurt, and Sean Hill went in there. So everybody wants success, and they know it's an uphill battle when your backup goes in. And it's never easy. But I think in the locker room, you accept the challenge and you want to prove people wrong. You think that, oh, just because we have our backup quarterback in there, we're going on the road. We're an underdog. Let's prove them that we can handle the pressure. We can handle the challenge. So I just think it's another additional challenge that this team is facing. I think they're going to hit it head on and attack it and support him as much as possible. He's going to make mistakes, and that's fine. They know that, but that's the best part about it too. As a defense, as an offense, as a special teams, it's a complementary game. So when the offense makes mistakes, okay, defense, let's go pick them up. Let's get the ball back to the offense. Hey, defense made mistakes. Hey, offense, let's go pick them back up. So, my time in Nebraska, Zach never really got hurt too much. And I just look at, Joe Gans coming in for a Sam Keller situation back in 07, and things were damn good. But no, I think it's going to be fun to see because I think TJ is very, very talented, and I'm excited to see this game plan. And I don't expect the offense to look, to take a huge step back, to be honest, with a full game plan week ahead for TJ.
Look, Emmett Johnson's been like incredible, and I've liked him and I've been a fan of his, but I'm going to be honest with you, I did not foresee this coming. And what's been even more impressive, Jay, is that he's done it with kind of a revolving door of tackles, right, on either side, whether it be for performance issues or injuries. And at times, and you look at kind of the PFF data, they've had to run the ball a lot, in the A gap, right, in between either the left guard or the right guard in the center. I want to ask you, what have you seen from 59, 51, and 50? What have you seen from Lateef, Justin Evans, and Rocco Spindler in these last couple of games?
Yeah, they've been darn good. I think we had Jeremiah Searles on last night, a big wrap up, and I broke down the Emmett Johnson run, and just really just man blocking and hat in a hat. And Lateef did a great job kind of sealing his guy just enough. But he said like Jeremiah said, their success in the run game has come over the center, over the guard, because those three guys have been really good. Obviously, the tackles have struggled in the pass protection area. I mean, they don't run outside a ton. I mean, they kind of get downhill and they go, which arguably those are your three best players. And we kind of knew that coming into the season. But they've been darn good. I think the move with Justin Evans to center has paid off. Getting Spindler has been great. You see when he went out against Minnesota, just kind of how the communication and the execution really failed offensively in that Minnesota game. And Lateef has just been super consistent. We've seen him last year, and he's able to keep doing it. But without those three guys there, man, Emmett doesn't have the success that he's had. And I think Pritchett's, healthy. We will play this week. He's getting better. And now with, looks like Cochran will move at the right tackle, and he's played a ton of football. So the pieces are there for this thing to keep going and keep it moving. But Emmett does a fantastic job of making guys miss too. It's a lot of times there's not a lot there, and he looks like it's 2 or 3 yard loss, and he gets 2 or 3 yard gain. Yeah. But those three interior guys, they play very, very well together, and I did not expect this type of success running the ball this year. I agree with you, but he's having one of the hit the 1,000-yard mark through 9 games, and you have to go back to what I think Amir was the last running back that's done that. So I expect more of the same. Attack it this week. UCLA has been struggling to run the ball. Again, another 30 touches for Emmett in the pass game, in the run game, and let him go keep doing his thing.
Last 1,000-yard rusher was Divine Ezigbo.
Here we go.
2018. So yeah, you're right. It has been a long time. Before we get you out of here, Jay Moore, former Blackshirt, and you guys do an incredible job of Big Red Wrap Up. Always enjoy watching that on Tuesdays. One key, real quick, before we let you go. One key to the UCLA.
I always tend to lean defensively just because I'm a defensive guy, and I struggled last night to say Nico's last name. Ialamama.
Yeah. Everyone knows where you're going.
Yes, Nico. You got to keep him in the pocket.
Yeah,
he is dangerous. He is athletic. Now with Neuheisel kind of taking over the play calls after the Sean Foster, this offense has gotten a lot better. But I think you got to keep him somehow in the pocket. And it'll be interesting to see just that game plan of what Nebraska wants to do. Do they want to bring pressure? Or they want to kind of sit back there and try to keep him in the pocket. But I think you can't let him beat you with his legs. You don't want to be in a lot of man-to-man situations on the back end with your secondary turned. Our athletic ability at the linebacker spot isn't great. So you got to keep him in the pocket. And if you can limit him and his scramble yards, Nebraska's going to be all right on Saturday night.
Jay Moore, you're the man. Appreciate you coming on as always. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, boys.